Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this heart granny square. You are going to need two colors of yarn. I'm using pink and white, and you're going to need a 5mm crochet hook or whatever hook depending on what your yarn calls for that you choose to use, and a pair of scissors and a darning needle. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to begin with making our starting loop. Now, just to give you an FYI, when I'm referring to each, obviously it's not a row, obviously it's not a round because we're not working in the round, but we're going around a square. I'm not really sure what else you would call that, so I will be referring to them as rounds just so you know what step we're on, okay? And I've done the same thing in the written pattern, which you can find in a link in the description below if you'd like to access the written pattern, as well as a link to my main website that has all of my patterns available on it, even the ones that might not have a video tutorial available as of yet. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and do a chain 5. So you're going to yarn over your hook, pull through the loop. Now, if I work through any of these steps a little bit too quickly, there are stitch tutorials for each stitch that I'm doing where I slow down and focus on those particular stitches. So feel free to go ahead and have a look. The links are in the description below, as well as straight to my crochet stitches page on my website. Okay, so we're going to attach our last chain to our first chain with a slip stitch. Okay, now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, oops. I split the yarn there. 3, and our chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet always in this pattern. Okay, so now we're going to double crochet, yarn over, push your hook through the middle of the ring there, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. So that's a double crochet, and we're going to do another one into the middle of that ring. Oh gosh, I split that yarn again. Okay, so because the chain 3 counts as a double crochet, we have 3 double crochets right now in the middle of our ring. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into the middle of our ring. Again, so 1, 2, and 3. We're going to chain 2 and work another 3 double crochets into the middle of our ring. 1, 2, 3. If you guys hear all that pitter patter or like random chewing now and again, that's my dogs, okay? So pardon that. Chain 2, and we're going to do it one more time because this is a square, so we need 4 corners. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to close with a slip stitch in the top of our chain 3 that we started off with. Okay, so there's the beginning of your square. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch our way to this corner, which is the first chain 2 space from our previous round. So we're going to slip stitch, slip stitch, slip stitch, slip stitch, slip stitch across the first 3 stitches there. Okay, and I know it's a little bit hard, hang on, because I think I pinched a little bit of my stitch when I did my slip stitch there. So 1, 2, 3, there's my chain space. There we go. Okay, so you're going to slip stitch in the top of that first stitch there, slip stitch in the next, and then in that last one there. So we're just slip stitching across the first 3 stitches because we want to work our way to our corner, but we want to keep our square consistent. Now you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to double crochet twice around that chain 2 space from the previous round there. Okay, and now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do the same thing again in that very same space. We're going to work 3 double crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to do 3 double crochet in this next space here created by the chain 2 from our previous round. So 1, 2, 3, chain 2, double crochet another 3 times in that same space. In all of the corners, you're going to do this twice because that's how we keep the shape. It creates your new corner for the next round. So that's why we're doing it this way right now. Chain 2, go to the next corner and do the same thing again. 3 double crochets. Oops. Chain 2, another 3 double crochets. Chain 2, and another 3 double crochets into your last corner there. Chain 2, 3 more to keep the shape of our corner. Sorry, I gotta get more yarn here. One, 2, and 3. Okay, chain 2, and then you're going to close in the top of that chain 3 space from our previous round. Okay, let's have a look at that so far to get to see the shape where all the corners are. Okay. Okay, so now, wait, my slip stitch came out there, sorry. So now we're about to work on round 3, and this gets a little tricky because this is where we switch colors. Now, before I get going, I just want to say to you, however you switch colors, if you're good at hiding your tail ends as you go, that's great. If you're good at, switching colors without ever fastening off, awesome. I am neither of those things. I am the one that has a million tail ends at the end to hide. It just is what it is. So switch your colors however you like to. And if you've never switched colors before and this is your first time working on a pattern like this, well, you're about to get sucked into my way with hiding a million tail ends. So sorry, not sorry. Okay, let's get started on our next round. So we're going to slip stitch into our first 3 stitches here. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to chain 3 and do 2 double crochets into this first corner space here. We're going to chain 2 and work 3 double crochets again into that very same corner space. 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 2 and we're going to work 3 double crochets into around this next chain 2 space from the previous round. 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 2 and now we're going to switch our color to the second color you picked. In my case, it's white, and we're calling this color B. That's how I've done it in my written pattern for those of you that are following along, possibly with the written pattern. This is where we are switching to color B, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into this next corner space over here. That's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to chain 2 and work another 3 double crochets into that, whoops, into that same corner. 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 2 and we're going to switch back to color A. I know some people watching this are just cringing at the way I switch my colors, but you know what? I'm not the most graceful, but you know what? The end result is worth it. When it comes to switching colors, we're going to work our 3 double crochets around that next chain 2 space there. 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 2. And we are going to switch again. Let me get that. I'll fasten it off in a second. We're going to switch. Right now we're doing our corners in our color B, except for the very last corner. The first corner and the last corner are going to be color A. You'll see, it gives the shape of the heart, I promise. So we're going to do our 3 double crochets in that next corner space there. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 2 and do another 3 double crochets in that same corner. And 2 and 3. We are going to switch back to color A. Oh, hang on. We got to make sure that we do our chain 2 and then switch back to color A. It does matter at certain points when you're switching colors what color you do your chain 2 with. You really want it to be a really seamless, beautiful heart in the middle of your granny square, right? So we're going to do our 3 double crochets around this next chain 2 space. 2, 3. Now for this corner, we're doing it pink again because this is the top part of our heart so far. So we're doing this corner pink, or color A, sorry, whatever you're using. So chain 2, yarn over, and work your corner with your 3 double crochets. Get more yarn here. 3 double crochets, chain 2, work, oh, I split that yarn there. Work another 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Now for this part, we are going to, so here is where we are going to chain 2. And then we're going to switch to color B. This is where we need the shape of our heart to go in. It'll start to take shape and make sense to you. Probably as the next round, as you're working the next round 4, okay? So now we're going to work our 3 double crochets around this chain 2 space here. So 1, 2, 3. Now this is where I was talking about where it matters what color you're using when you're doing your chain 2s, at least to me. Maybe if you're like a wizard with changing colors, like I've said, you don't got to worry about this so much, but just the gaps, I don't want it to like show a change in color even underneath any of the yarn. I'm funny like that. So I am going to fasten this off and switch back to color A before I chain 2 and close with a slip stitch, because I don't want it to show like this stretch of white here, because I really want the shape of my heart to be proper. So I've done my chain 2 with my pink here, and now I will close with my slip stitch into the top of my chain 3 space. Okay, so far, minus the million tail ends, which I'm gonna pause and go ahead and hide them so that while you're watching this tutorial, it's super clean for you. So this is the shape. You should see how you can kind of see it's starting to take shape. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to round 4. So now we're moving on to round 4, and we're only gonna be switching our colors one more time. So we're gonna begin with our 3 slip stitches into the first 3 stitches of this round to make our way to the corner. Okay, so you've got your 3 slip stitches. Now we're gonna switch our color for the last time, and we are gonna go ahead and switch to our color B. In my case, white. Okay. And we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Do our first 2 double crochets in that first corner here that we worked our way to. Chain 2. And work our, oops, what am I doing there? I think I did more than chain 2. 1, 2, yeah, I did. I thought for a second, I was looking, I got distracted for a moment there looking at, I didn't think my camera was recording. Chain 2. 3 double crochets into that same corner. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. And now we're going to work 3 double crochets around this next chain 2 space from the previous round. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2. Work 3 double crochet around the next chain 2 space. Chain 2. Work 3 double crochets into that next corner. Chain 2. Work 3 double crochets into that very same corner. To get a bit more yarn there. Chain 2, work 3 double crochet around that next chain 2 space. Chain 2, work 3 double crochet around that next chain 2 space. Chain 2, work 3 double crochets into that next corner. Chain 2, 3 double crochets into that same corner again. Chain 2, 3 double crochets around that next chain 2 space. Chain 2, 3 double crochets around that next chain 2 space. chain 2, 3 double crochets into that next corner, chain 2, 3 double crochets into that very same corner, chain 2, 3 double crochets around that next chain 2 space. We're almost done our round here. Chain 2, 3 double crochets around that last chain 2 space of the edges. Chain 2, and you're going to close with a slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 space. So now I've got a tail end in there, so it's kind of, so now, oh, I have it backwards here. You can see the shape of your heart. So it's really up to you if you want to keep on going from this point. How big you want your square to be, what kind of border you want your square to have. That's up to you. For me, I like the look of doing that one more around. See the difference there if you leave it as one. It's kind of poking out. I gotta play around with the shape a little. Leaving it as one, doing another round. I like doing another round of the white. So you can go ahead and just do another one again. I keep flipping it the wrong way on you, sorry. There you go. Because the way that you would start your next round, you would do your 3 slip stitches in those first 3 stitches. I did another round, so I'm just going to walk you through. I'm not going to do the whole round right now. I'm just going to walk you through because it's a very repetitive pattern, which is nice. You're going to chain 3. And then what you're going to do for this one, if you want to do that 5th round, is you're just going to follow the exact same pattern in all the corners. I'm sure you know what to do now. For the very first one, you're just going to do your 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then do 3, because your chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Then along the edges, you're going to be working 3 double crochets around all of these chain 2 spaces. Okay, between all of your 3 double crochets, you're going to work a chain 2, right? And in all your corners, you're just going to be sure to always do it twice. You're going to do your 3 double crochet, chain 2, and do another 3 double crochet, and that's what's going to keep the shape of your corners in your granny square. So you go ahead and work it however you want to. If you want to do another round, if you don't want to do another round, if you want to add another color. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this pattern. Please have a look at the links in the description below. I've put some helpful links in there. And also don't forget to click like and subscribe so that you get a notification whenever I upload more videos.